Hello, friends. Welcome to the daily transmission. It is Monday, April 10th, 2023, and we are here to talk about the astrology of the moment. We are here to talk about whatever it is that comes up. Say hello when you arrive, whether you are on Instagram, Facebook, maybe you are watching this later on YouTube or on Spotify, wherever you are. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so first and foremost, thank you so much to everybody who came to hear me talk over the weekend. And those of you who reached out for support, that was the nicest. I was truly touched. Just like people were posting on my Facebook timeline, people were sending me DMs and just wishing me well. Not y'all, like Mama Capricorn, so heart is melting. It's just really sweet to get to feel that like support from close and far. Unfortunately, my fiance could not be there because he was feeling sick. And so like just couldn't even get out of bed. I'm just opening up the celestial events for the day. And so I had to go by myself. But y'all, I just truly, it was such a magical day from start to finish. It just felt like one of those days where you're like on acid or something. Everything is so psychedelic and so in the flow, like just everything was so like you could predict things before they happen and you were manifesting things all over the place. It was just really beautiful. When I walked in, I didn't, I had this banner that I needed to have, a retractable banner and much taller than me. And I needed some support that day. And of course it was there because I'm always supported. It was just really nice. And in fact, one of my yoga teachers came and like little tears came to my eyes. It was just really nice to get that support, close by and far away. So wherever you are, I appreciate you. It was so interesting because what I talked about, the name of the talk, it was called "Why Are You the Way That You Are?" And essentially wanted to talk about the North Node, South Node, and Chiron, and how we have this internal compass that we can use to get back into realignment. Hey, Ebony, good morning. So we have this internal compass that we can use to see like, oh, I'm like putting way too much emphasis on this other part of the seesaw. I've already been here, already visited this, and I need to move into my North Node. And talked about how the last time that I went on stage was so calculated and prepared and just no room for magic. It was 30 plus slides, business suit, 5-inch heels, like just everything was so specific. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, Mama. Just everything was so specific and so calculated. I had like 30 slides and I was, I had stressed all night memorizing my script word for word and damn near had a panic attack the last time I went on stage. It was like, I was full of cortisol, full of anxiety. And that is so South Node in Virgo, just me thinking, oh, I have to have everything perfect and planned and organized and systemized. And y'all, I went back through my slides from that event and it was good. It was not, I wouldn't call it great, but it was a very good talk. But it was way too much. It was like so much information, way more than anybody I think can really process for the people that I was talking to at the time. And that is like my toxic trait, is trying to perfect everything and trying to be the best and trying to teach everybody the methods and the trying to make everybody else as strategic as me. And this is not like, that is my gift to myself. And really what it is that I need to be giving to the world, like what I'm here to do in this lifetime, is all in Pisces. The more intuitive, the more hidden stuff, the mindset stuff, which truly, if you work with me, if you've spent any kind of intimate time with me, that of course is what I do. I'm very good at helping to show you where you are holding yourself back, where the hidden thoughts, beliefs, the unconscious patterns that are in there, that are keeping you in a program that you don't want to be operating in anymore. That's something I'm very, very good at. And that's what I need to be focusing on. And so why do I do that? What is my fucking problem? We all have it. What's your Chiron? And of course, my Chiron being in Cancer in the second house has so much to do with being, not being emotional. Like, don't be emotional and don't be nurturing. Don't be soft. Can't be soft. You don't know how to be, because I wasn't nurtured. And that my value, like I have to give like financial, material value, tangible value, in order for whatever it is that I do to be like good enough, whatever the fuck that means. And so that was like, that's the 5-minute, 2-minute version of that talk, but that's essentially what it was. And this time was so in my North Node. I went in there, I had this one retractable banner. I was wearing like this top and just stuff that I felt comfortable in, not my brand colors, but I show up there and I'm on brand for the event because the event was very much this like jungle vibe. And so despite me just releasing control and saying, you know what, I don't need everything to be perfect. I don't need everything to be so calculated. I don't need to be wearing my brand color for them to like relate me to my brand. I show up and I happen to be on brand anyway. I'm on brand with the event. And that is so North Node in Pisces, y'all. It was such a great experience and I'm really grateful. And I have already been invited to go back for Sacred Sessions 4.0. So if you are local, when they announce that, I will give you all the details. I think that the link that I have, when I get to share it with people, it is some kind of like discounted. So I'll let you know when it's coming back around. But it was a really, really excellent event. And honestly, if you're not local, I would encourage you to find things like this, or if there's nothing like this where you are, make it, like, you be the change. It was really fucking cool to get to hang out with, I feel like such an old person when I say this, but like all these kids over the weekend, because the people who organized this event, the people who made this thing, were like 24, 25. This Pluto and Sagittarius group, y'all, they mean business. They are like out there doing the thing, just making things happen. I love it. I love the spirit of this generation, that they have very just like, yeah, why the fuck not? Like, why not us energy? I mean, when I was 24, I was bold, but in a different way, bold in a more personal way, not necessarily in that like community impact way. And I can see how this generation is that difference, is that change. And we love to see it. Speaking of Sagittarius energy, big Sag energy, we've got the sun coming into conjunction with Jupiter. So because, this is not necessarily like the shortest transit in the world, this starts today and it goes through the 13th, which is most of the week. That's Thursday, but it's direct tomorrow. So Sun in conjunction with Jupiter. Oh my gosh, it's such a pleasure meeting you. Listen, I had an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for being there. I can't wait for more. Sun in conjunction with Jupiter. Jupiter to me is like the spirit of YOLO. Okay. It's the spirit of like, let's have fun, let's learn more, let's go places, let's do. And so with the sun being in conjunction with Jupiter over the next few days, and we also we're still in Aries season. This is definitely, you probably are not wanting to just do like your normal thing today. Like, you're probably not super interested in having your normal Monday routine today. And why the fuck would you? We're going to have the sun in direct conjunction with Jupiter tomorrow. And that's when Venus moves into Gemini. Venus in Gemini, this is very much the energy of kind of flirtatiousness and wanting to do a little bit here and do a little bit there. And I want to learn about this. And I want to learn about that. It's a very social time. I imagine that this week even if you're like an introvert, you probably have the craving to connect with other people. So it's not to say that it has to be some big like event like we just went to over the weekend. But even if it's just, engaging in your group chat, or like asking a friend, what is a book you've read recently, or what's somewhere you've gone recently, something you learned recently that makes you think of me, or you think that I would really enjoy. This is definitely a good time for opening yourself up to possibility. This is a really good time for opening yourself up to being surprised and delighted. And let me say, there is no room for you to be surprised and delighted if you're white knuckling your life and planning every minute of the day. So we need to allow room to breathe. We need to allow room for surprise and delight to come through. So with that said, I am kind of feeling the energy of a short transmission this morning. Oh, there was one thing that I did have to say though, right? I wrote something down this morning. And simply the energy of confidence versus the energy of something to prove. They can seem externally kind of like the same thing. But it's all, I guess, a projection. Last time I went on stage, I was not confident. I had something to prove. I'm glad that people got something out of it. This was like a year and a half or so ago. It was all like a business thing. But I was so in the energy of proving. I needed to make sense, and I needed people to have like a tangible result, like right there. Like I don't know. I was very in my shit about a lot of things, but yeah, so I was very much in the energy of needing to prove myself. So I was wearing like 5-inch heels. Can you imagine? I mean, I'm 4'10", so I'm like the size of like a 5th grader. And so I have always been a little insecure about that, professionally speaking, because like people aren't going to take me seriously. They're not going to take my ideas seriously because I am small. But that's completely like my own thing. This weekend, this last time I went on stage, I was in an energy of confidence, and I did not start my day panicked and anxious and like with my cue cards and like trying to memorize every single word. I started my day with yoga like I do any other day. I started my day with mantra and meditation and sound baths. And I tidied up the house a little bit, and I got myself ready. I made my tea. And then I went and I enjoyed a couple of hours connecting with people beforehand. It was a completely different experience. And I also want to remind you that like nothing necessarily externally changed. That was all an internal shift. Those were all internal. Like I had every opportunity last week to get myself into anxiousness. I had every opportunity last week to make things harder than it needed to be, to spend days shopping, trying to find the right outfit, trying to find the right colors, trying to find the right whatever. I could have spent all of that energy in slides. I could have really wound myself up in a panic and then not been able to connect with anybody there. And like, that's what I did the last time. I like showed up, I did my thing, and then I left because I had such a flood of cortisol that I was just completely exhausted when I was done. What even good was that? I got to really connect with people, right? It was a pleasure getting to meet people, not just talk at them. Listen, I love teaching. I love talking at you a little bit, but I really do love connecting with people. But that's only something that's shifted because I've shifted things within me. And so I want to remind you that if you want something different, if you want to experience something different, if you want a new experience, you'll have to make new choices, even if it starts internally, even if it starts with small things. And if you need some support with that, let's sit down. Let's have a session. Let's get together. Let's see what's going on. Let's find out why you are the way that you are. But yeah, that's it for today. I love y'all so much. I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful Monday. Go take care of yourself. Go do something fun and allow space, allow moments for you to not have anything planned, to make new choices, to allow things to surprise and delight you. You have no idea where today could go. You have no idea. I choose to be surprised and delighted. I choose to believe my highest and greatest good is always unfolding for me. And I choose to believe the same for you too. So I love you, love you, love you. I will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. for the next transmission. And have a good day, friends. Bye.